In this video, we are going to talk about 10 best superhero movies. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Because there are so many of them, narrowing down the finest superhero movies of all time might be difficult. Both Marvel and DC have enormous cinematic universes that are steadily expanding, and there are plenty of superhero films that aren't part of the MCU or DCEU. That is, however, where we come in. We've compiled a list of the best superhero movies ever made to make your next movie marathon a breeze. We enlisted the help of Total Film and SFX magazine to compile the ultimate rating, which isn't limited to comic book adaptations. Everything involving a superhero is eligible. Below, you'll find films spanning 4 decades, from Richard Donner's Superman movie to the grandiose Avengers Endgame and the elegant Spiderman into the SpiderVerse. Here are the 10 best superhero movies. So let's start. Number 10. Thor Ragnarok. After Kenneth Branagh's Shakespearean origin story and Alan Taylor's defaced sequel, Thor was begging for a fresh start. Thank goodness, then, for Taika Waititi, director of What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilderpeople, who turned the character around, reimagining the God of Thunder as an arrogant, comedic mess. Thor Ragnarok may not be the most important MCU movie story-wise, but the movie makes for the funniest Marvel outing to date. Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Jeff Goldblum are all clearly having a blast playing off the fast and loose script. Also featuring dazzlingly outlandish visuals, thanks to some impressive set design and fantastical uses of CGI, Ragnarok makes for a comic book-induced fever dream. Number 9. Batman Returns. Arguably one of the best Christmas movies of all time, Batman Returns is a Tim Burton masterpiece. Michael Keaton's unswaggering form as a returning Batman, Michelle Pfeiffer steals every scene as Catwoman, and Danny DeVito's grotesque Penguin makes for one of the best comic book villains ever put to screen. All 3 actors are at the peak of their powers, operating in tandem with one of the most unique visionaries of the 20th century. Pure heroic heaven. Often overlooked when it comes to ranking Bat's best on-screen efforts, Batman Returns is dark without being dingy, gritty without being grimy, and Batman without the bat nipples. What's not to like? Number 8. Avengers Endgame. If Avengers Infinity War was Marvel's Empire Strikes Back, then Avengers Endgame makes for the studio's Return of the Jedi, not quite as serious as the movie that came before, but covers up identifiable faults with jaw-dropping action and a sense of fun. Endgame's stuffed 3-hour runtime somehow feels breezy, with the movie being a mixture of both intimate and epic. The writers are deviously clever, paying homage to the other MCU movies while never losing sight of what's at stake. While some Marvel fans may not be best pleased by how the adventure ends following the almost unconquerable climax of Infinity War, there's one thing that's certain: we'll be talking about Endgame for years to come. Number 7. X2. With everyone so desperate for the mutants to arrive in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, fans often forget just how great those early X-Men movies are. X2 easily takes the top spot. Not only are the eponymous heroes going up against Magneto, playing with astonishing villainy by Ian McKellen, but also Brian Cox's Stryker. Mixed with a quasi-origin story for Wolverine, Hugh Jackman at his best, and some very distressing scenes in Stryker's base, you have superhero royalty right here. Did we also mention the amazing cast? As well as the aforementioned names, there's Patrick Stewart, Halle Berry, James Marsden and Famke Janssen appearing as the definite movie versions of Professor X, Storm, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. Number 6. Batman. For a minute, just forget about Nolan's Batman trilogy. Sure, we can thank the Inception filmmaker for injecting modern superhero movies with a sense of realism, but Tim Burton's take on the Caped Crusader had an equally huge impact on Hollywood. Following the success of Beetlejuice, Burton and Michael Keaton decided their next joint venture would be a retelling of a campy comic book hero on the big screen. Note, campy, not because of the source material, but because the previous Bats adaptation was Adam West's gadget-loving, spandex-wearing Light Knight. When Burton's version arrived, then, everyone was surprised at just how dark, literally and figuratively, a superhero movie could be. Anchored by Keaton's stoic performance and lifted by Jack Nicholson's iconic Joker, Batman holds its own against the CGI-heavy blockbusters of today and remains one of the best superhero movies of all time. Number 5. Avengers Infinity War. Infinity War marks the climactic end to 18 movies worth of storytelling. Dozens of Marvel heroes finally unite together for a thrilling finale that miraculously feels like an ending, despite a sequel being a known extension of the story upon release. The Russo brothers cram the running time with stunning fights, conflicts, and team-ups, all while giving the villain Thanos a thoroughly convincing backstory. And the Purple Titan's the real star, bringing all the loose plot strands together. Josh Brolin offers a laudable performance as the CGI being, helping create a character who is truly terrifying. Elsewhere, both the script and the cast do an admirable job of managing an incredible headcount, as almost the entire MCU tries to stop Thanos. The scale and ambition of Infinity War is a daring achievement, and that ending haunted Marvel fans for an entire year before Endgame finally landed. Number 4. The Dark Knight. Forget everything you know about comic book movies. The Dark Knight takes the formula and smashed it to smithereens. The middle installment in Nolan's trilogy changed everything. Splitting screen time between day and night, The Dark Knight focuses as much, if not more, on Batman's alter ego, Bruce Wayne, who must grapple with the decidedly chewy morals of fighting crime and doing what's acceptable when saving the day. Gotham, meanwhile, is presented as a dark nightmare city with a festering underbelly of crime lords and a general public aching for a hero. Of course, any good superhero must have a supervillain to match them. Enter Heath Ledger's Joker. A controversial casting at the time, Ledger makes for the perfect manic, unnerving murderer. With garish makeup and enigmatic platitudes, Joker steals the show. When he was awarded a posthumous Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, few were surprised. Number 3. Guardians of the G.A. Logan. The Marvel Cinematic Universe's rules were rewritten with the release of Guardians of the Galaxy. Superhero movies, it turns out, can be humorous and irreverent. From the first scene to the last, writer-director James Gunn's passion for the material is on full display, with every shot overflowing with soul. And there's the cast. Chris Pratt's performance as the witty Star-Lord was a surprise, given that the actor was most recognized for his role on Parks and Recreation prior to Guardians of the Galaxy. Then there's Zoe Saldana as the melancholic Gamora, Dave Bautista as the fantastic Drax, and Bradley Cooper as Rocket's voice. Every member of the titular gang of misfits is employed. There's also a retro soundtrack and just enough fan service to make this a must-see MCU installment. Number 2. Logan. Despite Fox's promotion of Logan as Marvel's response to Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, comparing the X-Men spin-off to The Dark Knight is a disservice to the film. Despite the fact that both films are realistic superhero adventures, Hugh Jackman and director James Mangold's portrayal of a world-weary, aging Wolverine and his troubled family remains a unique character study. Logan delves deeper into a character that has always buried his true sentiments, instead opting for pure wrath. Mangold sticks to messy scraps between characters, with few dazzling action set pieces. Logan then follows up with an emotional, unexpected punch that will have every X-Men fan in tears. Number 1. Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse gets Spider-Man better than any prior Spider-Man film, recognizing him as a teenager grappling with Uncle Ben's famous saying, "With great power comes tremendous responsibility." Spider-Verse is a beautifully animated romp through multiple dimensions, produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, of 21 Jump Street and the Lego Movie fame, that gives dozens of knowing nods to Spider-Man films and TV shows from the past, while never excluding viewers who may not have seen every Spidey outing. Despite the fact that the tale revolves around Miles Morales, Peter Parker is still alive and well because to a multiverse split. As a result, numerous Spider-Men are pitted against Kingpin, including an older, chubbier Parker, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Ham, and even Nicolas Cage's noir Spider-Man. The premise may appear convoluted, but Spider-Verse makes everything feel so simple owing to an entertaining and witty writing with a lot of compassion, all while messing with superhero conventions. Furthermore, the animation is mesmerizing, with each frame lovingly made by the great animation crew. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.
What's good, and thanks for watching this video on Top Movies. Once you subscribe to the page, type subscribed in the comments and we'll do our best to respond to all of you. See you on the next video.